Good afternoon, everyone. We're thrilled to welcome you to the signing ceremony of this groundbreaking Memorandum of Understanding between the Dalhousie University, St. Thomas University, and the Consulate General of Mexico in Montreal. This significant occasion marks our collective effort to support the rights and well-being of Mexican seasonal workers in Canada's Atlantic provinces. The MoU we signed today establishes a collaborative framework that will positively impact many lives. We are honored to have several key figures with us, including, and above all, and first of them, Luis, Carlos, Felipe, trabajadores mexicanos que están aquí, por quien pido un aplauso. A big round of applause for them. We have the honor to have Associate Vice President of Global Affairs at Dalhousie University, Mr. Balakrishnan Prithviraj, Mr. Consul General Victor Manuel Treviño, Consul General for Mexico in Montreal, Mr. Peter Toner, Associate Vice President Research at St. Thomas University, joining us via Teams, Fariba Solati, Associate Professor at the Department of Economic at the St. Thomas University, Christine Saunier, Director of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, Caroline Whiteaway, Executive Director for Atlantic Region Association of Immigrant Servicing Agencies, ARISA, Raluca Bejan, Associate Professor at Dalhousie University, Kristen Allen, Professor at St. Thomas University, also joining us via Teams. And we're also pleased to welcome Galo Carrera, Honorary Consul here at this magnificent province. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. It's very important for us. Your presence is also of great importance at this auspicious moment. We also have our colleague for Economic Affairs at the Consulate, Madame Tania Lara. Now, let me please invite for opening remarks Mr. Prithviraj to take the stand. Thank you very much, sir.
Very much, Councillor Lugo, for the kind introduction. It's a great honor to be here this afternoon. It's a memorable event, a very important event. And so before that, we would like to welcome you all to Dalhousie University. So my name is Balakrishnan Prithviraj, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Global Relations at the university. And also I serve as a faculty member in the Faculty of Agriculture. So this is pretty close to my heart, like what's being signed here. And our faculty started a discussion about how we can actually support migrant workers from different parts of the world in our province. So I really look forward to discussing with Ambassador on that one, and as we move forward in this agreement. So I take this opportunity on behalf of Dalhousie University to welcome Ambassador. Welcome to Dalhousie University. I really appreciate you being here in person.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And maybe at leisure sometime, if you come, we'll be delighted to show you around the campuses in Halifax and as well as the agriculture campus.
It's on the record now.
About an hour from here. Yes. So welcome.
Thank you,
Ambassador.
Thank you.
So also welcome Dr. Peter Toner, St. Thomas University, who is joining us via Teams. So welcome, Dr. Toner, to this event. And virtually, at least you see part of Dalhousie University. It's a magnificent hall. Probably in the future we'll be able to host you in person sometime. Probably you might have already visited, but it would be a delight for us to host you again at Dalhousie University. So welcome, Dr. Toner. And also I'd like to welcome Caroline Whiteaway. Welcome to Dalhousie University. I understand you were an alumni.
A long time ago.
But alumni is alumni, yeah, so welcome back to campus. I really appreciate you being here. And and welcome Dr. Salati. So we met, and we would like to discuss more about the collaboration between yourself and Dr. Bejan. And yeah, welcome to Dalhousie. And Christine Sommer, thank you so much for being here this afternoon on this for signing the signing ceremony, and also honorary council. It's a great pleasure to meet you, sir. So thank you so much for joining us to celebrate the newly formed partnership between Dalhousie University. And what's more exciting is, it's not just Dalhousie University, but we are partnering with our sister university in the region, St. Thomas University. It's a great delight this afternoon. So we are delighted to have this agreement in place to support research collaboration and policy development, which promotes and respect human rights and so better working and living conditions for Mexican seasonal migrant workers in Atlantic region. As a faculty member, as I mentioned, I'm a part of the Faculty of Agriculture, and I used to be the assistant dean for international at the Faculty of Agriculture, and we constantly discuss about how we can participate, make a better experience for migrant workers here, and look forward to collaborating in that front as well. So we are hopeful that the community-based research of Dr. Bejan will continue to grow through the support of the Consulate General of Mexico and Dalhousie University. So Dalhousie University is over 200 years old. So we are one of Canada's leading research universities, ranked in the top 300 universities in the world, and we are probably Nova Scotia's largest and the most international university in Nova Scotia. So I requested my colleague to see to pull out some data on the Mexican students on our campus, and I see this year, like as of 2024, now we have 28 students from Mexico, 10 in the undergraduate programs and 19 in graduate programs. And also we really look forward to welcoming more Mexican students to Dalhousie University, and as well as partnering with more universities in Mexico. So yeah, and also so there are some strong relationships with the University of Campeche. There will be a few mobility of students, in both directions every year. But we really look forward to collaborating with the Consul General at Montreal to establish more research and academic collaboration with institutions in Mexico. And actually, I had the opportunity to visit. I visit Mexico quite often, at least twice a year. Not for fun, but mostly research. I work with seaweeds, and many Mexican universities are quite strong in seaweed research, and so I participate in some of the conferences and as well as meeting with colleagues. And this July, I was in Guadalajara for the Biostimulant conference, for Latin conference, and I had the immense opportunity to meet with a colleague from University of Guadalajara, and we discussed on length how we can bring our institutions together to collaborate. There's a tremendous opportunity there, and hopefully that's come to fruition in the near future. So we really look forward to continued engagement with the Mexican Consulate in Montreal to further partnerships with Mexican institutions in the years to come. And once again, on behalf of Dalhousie University, I would like to welcome you all to our campus, and really looking forward to the signing of this important agreement. And thank you so much, and welcome again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balakrishnan Padviraj, Associate Vice President, Global Affairs at Dalhousie University. It is a great honor to hear those kind words. And it's an auspicious moment to strengthen our relationship between the consulate and the university. Let's explore the key aspects of this MOU before listening to our ambassador, Victor Treviño, Consul General of Mexico in Montreal. This MOU looks at different aspects: research and knowledge sharing. The main objective is to enhance research and knowledge sharing about the rights and challenges of Mexican seasonal workers in the Atlantic provinces. Collaboration. The MOU encourages cooperation between universities and community organizations to improve understanding and promote practices that support our workers. Policy recommendations. We aim to formulate policies, policies based on your research to improve working conditions for seasonal workers, setting a standard that can be replicated locally and beyond. Now we have the great honor to listen to our Consul General of Mexico in Montreal, Ambassador Victor Manuel Treviño.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you very much. Buenas tardes, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, colleagues and friends, estimados paisanos, trabajadores aquí presentes. Ustedes han sido y ahora son la prioridad también del nuevo gobierno de la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum. Es el mandato que dio desde el 1 de octubre y mencionó que la prioridad de política exterior es la atención para ustedes, para los migrantes. I just mentioned that we have a new president. It's the first woman as president in Mexico and in North America, Claudia Sheinbaum. And she mentioned that the main concern, the first priority for us at the embassies and at the consulate are the migrant workers, the dignity and to respect the rights of them. And this occasion is very important for us. Thank you for the support of both universities to have this MOU today with this ceremony established. I'm honored to be part of today's inauguration of the Memorandum of Understanding between Dalhousie University, St. Thomas University, and the Consulate General of Mexico in Montreal. This marks an important milestone as we also celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Seasonal Agricultural Worker Program, SWAP, which has been essential for agricultural cooperation between Mexico and Canada since 1974. Over these decades, the SWAP has facilitated the temporary migration of Mexican agricultural workers to Canada, addressing labor shortages, which providing employment opportunities, benefiting both economies and societies. It's essential that we leverage this anniversary as a catalyst for reflection and action, ensuring that the principles of dignity, respect, and human rights serve as foundation for the experience of all workers involved, and that we extend these standards to all seasonal workers who come to Canada under various streams and programs. Both the governments of Mexico and Canada are dedicated to addressing the systemic challenge faced by migrant workers, such as isolation, language barriers, access to basic service, and safer housing, among others. Our initiatives focus on improving working conditions, advocating for fair wages, and ensuring access to essential services like healthcare. This is an example by the Ventanilla de Salud, a healthcare unit established with our consulate to enhance healthcare access and promote health literacy among migrant workers. Collaboration is key in these efforts. By uniting government agencies at provincial and federal levels, NGOs, community organizations, employer organizations, and educational institutions, we aim to foster solidarity and action. The presence of trade union representatives during the last year's SWAP revision meeting marks a promising advancement. Together, we will create a collaborative environment where every worker feels valued and respected. with their contributions recognized as integral to the success of our agricultural sectors. As we reflect in our 50-year journey, we not only celebrate past successes, but also look ahead to strengthening Mexican-Canada relations. We are dedicated to protecting workers' rights and exploring new growth opportunities for a more equitable future. Through this MoU, we seek collaboration with the academic sector to provide research and advocacy, ensuring compliance with labor laws and the protection of workers' rights. We have several commitments guiding our efforts, and I'd like to briefly highlight the most important ones. One of them, they are mentioned by Felipe, but it's, of course, promoting human rights and gender-sensitive policies, strengthening oversight and compliance to uphold labor standards, encouragement of social dialogue to empower workers to voice their concerns, enhancing support services in language-accessible formats for healthcare and legal assistance, advocating for fair compensation that reflects workers' contributions, modernizing and expanding the SWAP to meet evolving agricultural sector needs. Thank you to all, especially Dr. Raluca Bellan and the teams at Dalhousie and St. Thomas University through Dr. Peter Toner for highlighting workers' challenges. This collaboration is the first of its kind in Canada. Together, we will develop evidence-based policy recommendations applicable into our bilateral programs, such as the SWAP, and hopefully also in other streams. I'm confident that this initiative will be positively impact the lives of many workers and their families, not only Mexican, but from other communities and origins as well. As I conclude, I urge all the stakeholders to engage in this collaborative process. Let us strengthen our partnership and enhance support for our migrant workforce. Together, we can create a future where every worker, regardless of status, receives the dignity, respect, and fair treatment that they deserve. Thank you for your attention and commitment to this vital cause. Together, we can drive meaningful change. Thank you, muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ambassador Treviño. Indeed, additional aspects, important aspects of this MOU include community engagement. Building strong community connections is crucial, involving dialogue with labor unions, service organizations, and policy stakeholders. Long-term vision. This MOU represents a 5-year commitment, at least a 5-year commitment, showing our dedication to addressing the systemic challenges faced by seasonal agricultural migrant workers. Representing St. Thomas University, Mr. Peter Toner will now share his thoughts via Teams.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. It gives me great pleasure to bring greetings and congratulations from St. Thomas University, located on the traditional territory of the Wolastoqey people. St. Thomas University is a small liberal arts and mostly undergraduate university where scholarly research is an important part of our academic mission. In particular, our university recognizes that our faculty research allows us to be a positive and transforming presence in society and to fulfill our goal to be an institution with a social conscience and to put ideas and values into action. These are lofty goals for any university, and it begs the question of how we support and implement them. There are many ways, but in my estimation, one of the most important is through the work of our faculty researchers like Dr. Christy Elaine and Dr. Raluca Bellan, who take on impactful projects in our communities using the highest standards of research design and methodology, and mobilizing the results of that research in innovative ways to diverse stakeholders and audiences. I'm fortunate to have many talented colleagues working in those kinds of spaces. on topics ranging from long-term care for seniors, to creating welcoming and supportive communities for newcomers, to examining challenges faced by marginalized populations. These are spaces that are worthy of support because they help us to reimagine our society and how we might improve it so that our most vulnerable are respected and supported. The Memorandum of Understanding that we are celebrating here today is emblematic of this kind of research. Dr. Christy Elaine, STU's Canada Research Chair in Physical Culture and Social Life, has an impressively broad range of research expertise spanning gender, aging, and race in society, especially as reflected through the lens of sport, but also including subjects like the housing crisis. Dr. Raluca Bejan is well known to everybody today for her scholarly work on refugees, and was our own colleague here in St. Thomas's School of Social Work before she relocated to Dal. And I should note as well that our colleague, Dr. Tracy Glynn, is also a co-author on all 4 of the fine reports produced by the migrant workers in the Canadian Maritimes team. I've read all 4 of these reports that they've produced to date, and they draw attention to a wide range of working and living conditions faced by migrant workers in our region that are in need of amelioration by governments and employers alike. We are justifiably proud of their scholarly work and the important advocacy that it represents. This MoU between STU, DAL, and the Consulate General of Mexico is one important tool in supporting the continuation of this work into the future. The importance of community-based and policy-driven research cannot be underestimated, and St. Thomas University is very happy to do our part to see that it continues to achieve the highest level of success. So thank you very much. Merci. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those significant words, Mr. Peter Toner. And indeed, this collective effort requires all stakeholders to address the systematic challenges faced by migrant workers. Working with NGOs, with other key stakeholders is very important for us. Let's hear now from Christine Saunier, Director of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation to be here today, but to play a little role in ensuring that the research that's being done gets to where it needs to go in front of the politicians who need to make some decisions. As Director of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, it is that organization, it is a policy-based research institute. Our mandate is to advance social, economic, and environmental justice. This very broad mandate really touches on such a range of issues, but it really is a focus on policy and systems change. We need to ensure that policies and systems are inclusive, that they are responsive to those, especially who have been marginalized by those very systems and policies. It is thus critically important that we publish research that advances the human rights of those who are amongst the most marginalized, and that is migrant workers. We were so pleased to partner with the migrant workers in the Canadian Maritimes Partnership and serve as the publisher of the report we released this past March called Falling Short: Troubles with the Seasonal Agricultural Worker Program in Nova Scotia. This report details the working conditions of temporary foreign workers in our province that we should be ashamed of. But it doesn't just describe the problems. It lays out federal and provincial government recommendations, the solutions, the way forward to improve the working and living conditions of the temporary migrant workforce in this province. And I would argue help advance the working and living conditions for workers and residents of the province more broadly. We must indeed close down all the avenues to exploitation in this province and this region that lead to overworked, underpaid, inadequately housed, or otherwise how we marginalize people by denying their basic rights because of their status, as they live and work in our province and provide indeed very valuable services to Nova Scotians. As is made clear in this report, strengthening rules and regulations must come with better enforcement, along with disincentives for breaking those rules and regulations. When it comes to paid work here in this province, Nova Scotia has some of the weakest labor standards in the country. And even then, we know that there are far too many exemptions and exceptions that do not cover these workers. Our workers are not adequately protected. Their health and safety needs to be better protected, and we need to close those exemptions and exceptions. We need to ensure that employers do not pay less than what is an inadequate minimum wage. We need to ensure that our labor regulations do not continue to just favor employers at the expense of workers. We have to strengthen these laws and ensure all workers are fully protected with a higher minimum wage, with paid sick days, with a shorter regular work week, among so many other changes. This research is important because it tells a story that reveals the need for us to better build solidarity in our communities, to ensure that migrant workers are not treated as a different class of resident, but rather that they have access to public health care and all those services, that we dismantle those barriers that you laid out to us. They deserve access to all that is essential for them to thrive as members of our community, as equal members of our community. A continued focus on this important research is really critical to building a just province and a just country. And I thank you for allowing us to be involved, and I congratulate you for this important step. Thank you.
Very powerful words that we make our own, Ms. Christine Saunier. Those recommendations based on that report are very important for us and for the workers that are essential part of this province and the other provinces in Canada. These workers are essential for the food chain of this country. And so we make those recommendations our own, and we really hope that the evidence based on this research will advance into and will transform into policies that will make their living here in Canada better. So, as I said, NGOs also play a vital role in achieving our goals. Together, we'll advance further. So let's listen to Caroline Whiteway, Executive Director of ARISA.
Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Ambassador, and all of the very distinguished guests here. It is an important day. I think that we're celebrating the signing of this important MoU, and I think I would just like to speak a little bit about the collaboration involved and our very small role in it as well. I think this collaboration, it underlines the commitment that we all share to enhancing the working and living conditions of all migrant workers, and specifically the Mexican seasonal agricultural workers here. Here in Nova Scotia, they currently represent the highest number of temporary foreign workers that are working in the agricultural sector in the Atlantic region. So ARISA, which is the very lengthy Atlantic Region Association of Immigrant Serving Agencies, has been implementing the Migrant Worker Support Program, which is funded by Employment and Social Development Canada since October 2022, so 2 years now. And we partner with 6 community-based organizations across 3 maritime provinces, Nova Scotia, PEI, and New Brunswick. And to date, our partners have reached over 5,000 migrant workers through information sessions, sharing of resources and guides for migrant workers, and have assisted more than 2,000 workers in accessing support services. The role of ARISA and our collaboration with government agencies, consulates, and community organizations has been vital to the success of this migrant worker support program, which we call Better Together. And it underlines the fact that by working together, we can create a more integrated support system that allows us to share the knowledge, resources, best practices, ultimately leading to better outcomes for migrant workers in the Maritimes. So from that, we've learned and would like to share some key recommendations that we feel would further strengthen our collaborative efforts to better ensure protection to migrant workers. So first of all, that it's vital to actively involve migrant workers in our programs and decision-making processes. By listening to their perspectives and understanding their specific needs, we can tailor our support more effectively. Engaging migrant workers not only empowers them, but also ensures that our initiatives are relevant and impactful. And their insights can guide us to identifying gaps in services, of which there are many, and developing solutions that truly resonate with their experiences. Additionally, maintaining open communication channels amongst all stakeholders is crucial, and I believe that this MoU will help us achieve that as well. To ensure that migrant workers, community organizations, consulates, government agencies are well informed and engaged, and that we can help foster that collaboration and coordination. Lastly, continuous funding and resources for support services is essential to ensure continuity in the services and supports available to migrant workers. That security of the funding is what enables service provider organizations to invest in the long-term planning, minimize service gaps, and ensure that sufficient staff are in place to assist migrant workers to build trust-based relationships, which are so crucial to this work. So together, obviously, I think we have the power to make meaningful impact and unite our strengths, knowledge, resources, and create a safer and more supportive environment for migrant workers in the Maritimes, one where they feel safe and valued and empowered to thrive. So thank you all for your ongoing dedication to this important work.
Thank you very much. Indeed, the Migrant Support Program is very important, has been key for us also, not only here in the Atlantic provinces, but also in Quebec, where we also partner with various NGOs within the Migrant Support Program, which is very important for us and for our work. Better Together reflects the very spirit of this MoU, which is indeed a collective effort. So thank you very much for being part of this effort. And now, finally, it is our own privilege to hear from the very two distinguished speakers who have been key to bring about this MoU to completion. Dr. Raluca Bejan, Associate Professor at Dalhousie University, and Dr. Christy Allen, Professor at St. Thomas University, joining us via team. So let's listen from Dr. Raluca Bejan.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much everyone for coming here. I'm very honored to embark on this future collaboration with the government of Mexico as it relates to the research and knowledge mobilization to advance the rights of migrant workers in the Canadian Maritimes. Our research has shown that workers are constantly in very precarious occupational conditions, primarily because their status is precarious. So their status is actually bounded to their employer in the country. So this is definitely a problem, especially within a country that sort of prides itself on human rights and protection to people, especially also within the structure of knowledge about the temporary foreign worker program, which is primarily done solely through a Canadian-centric perspective. We think this MoU actually brings a very different angle into discussion. Also, especially when the number of seasonal agricultural migrant workers had doubled in Nova Scotia over the last decade and even tripled across the Canadian Maritimes in provinces such as New Brunswick. However, migrant workers have now become the scapegoats in a xenophobic rhetoric which actually blames them for the housing crisis, blames them for the unemployment rates, and so on and so forth. Also, especially within a context where little has been researched about the program on the Atlantic coast, although workers have been confronting with low or unpaid wages and precarious occupational and living conditions, such as overcrowding. It is my hope that our future collaborations will be able to provide empirically informed recommendations to the Canadian federal and provincial regulatory bodies in Canada for the betterment of workers' occupational and living conditions to actually increase their right to have further rights. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raluca Bejan. And joining us via Teams, Dr. Christy Allen, Professor at St. Thomas University.
Hello. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I wasn't expecting to speak today, but I want to echo what Raluca said about how important this MOU is, how excited we are to embark on this journey, and how important, especially given the increasing pressures on migrant workers these days, increasing xenophobic language, increasing restrictions on migrant workers and their safe passage to Canada, and the treatment they receive in this territory while here. We're hopeful that this MOU will help ameliorate some of these problems and shed light on the experiences of TFWs in the Atlantic region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Allen. And now we have come to this very auspicious moment. We now proceed to the signing of the MOU. And I first ask a big round of applause to everybody who's here for this auspicious moment and for our migrant workers that will be at the center of this MOU. Please a big round of applause for them. So another big round of applause for this auspicious moment. Thank you very much. And maybe we can take advantage of, maybe if we can stand up for a picture with the MOU. For a picture moment. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being part of this significant occasion. We extend our gratitude to the employers, workers, and everybody present today here. You're all key stakeholders of this MOU. We're eager to work, maybe not today, but tomorrow, starting tomorrow, on the objectives, pursuing the objectives of this MOU. Thank you very much again, and let us move forward together with hope and purpose. Thank you very much. Gracias. And so we can now take some refreshments and take advantage of networking. Thank you very much, Dr. Christie, Dr. Peter Toner, for joining us from St. Thomas University. Thank you very much for being part of this MOU too. Thank you.